yesterday when we were having our meeting. His suggestion was to do that with our low risk, take that space and let the sheriff's office move there until we were ready for him to move somewhere else.
Are you talking about the existing low risk?
No. Oh, please, no. They would shoot me.
No, they don't want to go there.
According to the CGL report on page 3-33, for 2015, the estimated sheriff's office is 25,000 square feet. And the adult probation department, 2015, is 22,500. Oh, then they have their extra 40% grossing factor for the adult probation, so that makes it 40% higher. You can figure that out real quick.
Yeah, Martin, handle that for us, will you?
Go ahead, Ashley.
Well, I think, you know, that would be a good choice in that. The one thing I don't think is a good choice is to buy a building. We don't need another building that's not made for it. I think when we looked at the original jail, it was like $3.5 million to add something for probation or something like that, wasn't it? And that's a fairly low number, really, when you look at it. And so I hope whatever we do on this is very short term and something to get us through here, realizing that at the not too distant future, we're probably going to have to build something that's specifically and made exactly for probation or the sheriff's department.
Other thoughts?
One, in terms of a touchstone for me, is we identified the issues yesterday in the statement of the court, and I think part of our responsibility is to identify options for the electorate before they go into the booth in November. So, so they have assurance and feel the comfort that we've thought through it. We may not have all the answers or details, but we've got a game plan in place to address, you know, these essential functions like the sheriff.
And I think it's also important that we all felt on this committee, after going through the complete interview process, we selected a firm called CGL. I mean, I think it's important for us to be able to look at their recommendations, to look at the sites that they selected and the size of the different spaces, and look to the future with a comprehensive master plan. And I just hope that we don't lose focus on the view of an overall master plan.
I think we're all committed here on the court to that overall master plan, and we are continuing to work on that plan.
Absolutely.
And we hope we can have the continued support of the task force on that.
And I would suppose with that CGL is looking at an update to this report at this time?
Not yet.
We're okay.
They will be.
Okay.
We've got, because part of the things that one thing they need to look at is what we do with probation in the sheriff's department.
Okay, and that will be an update that will be forthcoming.
Right. Well, I think
to the committee and.
Yeah, I think what we're doing here today is not the end of this. It's the beginning of this project. It's the beginning of all of it. It's certainly the beginning of the master plan part of it, if you will, of what CGL gave to us. So I look on what we're going to vote on today as the beginning of things, and that even goes to architectural design, the streetscape, and everything else. Today's the beginning of this.
And I'll tell you this, Martin. I spoke informally to Bob Goebel, and he thinks this is a good plan. There's more to be done. We want them to look at it formally when we have those other questions answered as far as about the transition.
One of the things I would suggest is that since the site has been adjusted somewhat from the original CGL report, that it be updated at least to that degree, so we can, as we move forward, stay tied to our master plan and those issues. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, Judge, before we go any further, I'm fine with supporting moving the sheriff's department and our adult probation over to low risk. But here's what I'm not gonna be fine with. I'm not gonna be fine with telling the voters that it's gonna cost them $109.9 million, and 6 weeks later, we go, guess what? We got some real estate we wanna buy, and we're gonna finance it every way. That's what I can't support. So we have put an estimate in here for the property that we need for the footprint of the jail. So I just need to make sure that I understand where everybody's going on this, because trust me, if in 6 weeks we say, okay, we got a building we want to buy, and we've already told the voters it's $109.9 million, and then guess what, we've got this other piece that we're going to finance a different way, we're going to have trouble. So that's what I want to, you know, that's the thing we're not really getting down to here, so I want to know what people think about that.
Well, you know, I don't think we want to hide anything from anybody. I don't think that's the intent of anybody on this court, but clearly it's additional cost. If we could certainly tell the voters now, we have an option. We could add to this project that we're looking at right now. We could add an additional 50 to 60,000 square feet of space to take care of the probation department, the sheriff's department, and everybody that's in the Carlton building. That's going to cost us $10 to $15 million more. If we want to do that, we can do that here today. I don't think that's what we want to do.
We can.
I think it's better if we do, because that way it takes away any, well, I told you they were gonna do that, so if
And
we're
that's
thinking that in the future, we may have to issue COs, or we may have to remove the tax notes, because this is a committee that's helping us get everything done. They know we've gotta come up with some way to finance that, whatever we decide we're gonna do, so we may have to issue COs in the future. Or we tack it onto the bond election. I mean,
So
what do
what's that bring
you
the
guys
total?
think we should do?
What does that take our total to?
And Martin, on Graham?
And if you talk about 15 million figure on the sheriff's department and the adult probation, where would that be?
I'm saying if we added that to this construction cost, they'd have to redesign, obviously. They'd have to redesign the low risk or the tower to accommodate that office space.
And according to the South Plan master plan, which we're deviating some from, would there be any possibility of doing that in a separate building, say on the south side of the existing jail?
That could happen.
It would be logical in
Right.
the operation. And if we got that and went ahead and put that with the bond issue, could it be in an either or, either purchase of real estate for that purpose or building an existing building? I mean, how much leeway do you have?
As far as the bond language, the ballot language, I think we have, it doesn't have to be that detailed. We can, as long as we know what the project encompasses
It
as
could
far
be
as.
an either or, couldn't it?
Okay, let me make sure I understand. You're saying put 2 issues on the bond, or just
No,
do it?
no.
No. Either or.
No, I'm just saying, if we put the amount in there for a projected amount for the sheriff's department and adult probation, and then if something happened that would make a good decision to purchase existing property instead of build it out, could we change and allocate those funds into the purchase of property?
I don't believe so. Because the bond language have to be specific enough to show that this money is to build new facilities. I don't think we could have that
Bond
much
language be
leeway.
to provide facilities at X number of square footage?
We would have to get with our bond council
Would
to
it have to be
determine
more
that.
specific than that?
I think it would. That's,
I think one of the things was that they, in the first CGL report, by not putting the jail in the current location, was to not have to get into that discussion at this moment.
It's
Yes.
a question that's going to be asked.